And that's Lemmy and Motorhead, bringing Mostly Metal to a close. I'm Ken the Metal Professor. Whoops. Quiet, you. You'll get your chance next time. Oh, wait, that's track one again. We already heard that. I'm Ken the Metal Professor, and this was the end of Mostly Metal, and you are listening to WVLP at 103.1 FM or streaming on WVLP.org or maybe even the TuneIn Radio app. And my guest in the studio is Drex Odell, and he brought you the last several songs. So that was Motorhead, and the title of the track was...
Born to Raise Hell.
Born to Raise Hell. And before that was Static X doing a cover of a Ministry song. Did I remember that right?
Yes, he did, yeah. With Burton from Fear Factory singing as well.
Okay. What was the title of that one?
It's called Burning Inside.
Okay. And we also heard some Powerwolf and some Meshuggah. Now,
Yes.
And so you brought these songs as kind of representative of things that you like to listen to. And so maybe in a minute here, we're going to break into the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program, and you and I are going to talk wrestling and what's going on in ACW and Fire Pro, and maybe some stories from you about what you've gone through to get to where you are, and anything that comes up. And if any of those songs in particular have a bearing, then we can talk about those at the same time. But just to make it official, here is the NWIWRAP little intro thing.
Your insubordination will not be tolerated.
It is time for the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program. Ken the Metal Professor here with Drex Odell. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you for having me, Ken.
It's a pleasure to have you here. I've been looking forward to talking to you for a while. I've gotten to see your work several times at ACW, Acme Championship Wrestling, and Fire Pro Wrestling. And so we'll sort of get a sense of what brought you up to that point. And I've also asked you to be the official WVLP ACW correspondent for the evening because I was unable to be at the ACW show this past Friday night. So I was hoping you could talk a little bit about some of the matches that happened there. If you have a rundown, or we'll just test your memory. I know you're one of the older guys in there, so we'll see how that goes.
I feel like I could be a father to some of these children over there, I tell you what.
So can you set the stage about where this was and
Sure.
the purpose of the event?
Every year, ACW does a couple of shows at our perennials, Winter Warfare being one. I think you were at that one at Lincoln Elementary.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then School's Out, which is usually May, early June. This year is May. Usually at Lincoln Elementary as well. This time we were at Lake Village Elementary, which is in Lake Village, Indiana. It's part of the same school system. The fighting school teacher, Jimmy Holmes, teaches there as well. And this is our first time being in that building, and I think it was the first time we had a lot of different fans in there. I have some fresh new faces that I've never seen before. Mm-hmm. Very small gymnasium, 150 people, but it was very loud. Crowd got into it, especially with the very first match. They weren't sure what to make of the first introduced wrestler, but he made his presence well known, and of course that is the incomparable CK1, the newly christened CK1. The very first match of the evening was a triple threat match for the ACW Tough Man Championship that yours truly is the longest reigning, well, no longer reigning, but longest holder of the belt. Currently held by Crimson Dynamo, who had to defend it against not only CK1, but Jared Kripke. It was a pretty decent match. In my opinion, it was fast action. And you don't usually see that with CK1. He likes to slow things down to his pace because he likes to take control. Unfortunately, he had one ball of energy in Jerry Kripke and another fast-moving guy named Crimson Dynamo. They went back and forth. Chris Kent put his finishing move on Crimson Dynamo, but during the pin count, Kripke broke up the pin count. They went at it a couple seconds. He got tossed right out of the ring, turned around and took the Dynamo punch. Crimson Dynamo covered him and got the 3 count, then defended his belt, retained his belt.
Are there particular stipulations for this as a
Yes.
tough man match?
With the tough man match, it's essentially a no DQ match type setup. rarely involves weapons. It does happen on occasion.
You're in a school.
Yeah, you think that would stop some people, but if I remember correctly, Crimson Dynamo had to hit me with about 4 different foreign objects in that match to win the belt off of me finally after 469 days.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a long reign. Got to hand it to him. It's not often you see somebody get hit with a stainless steel kitchen sink in the middle of the ring.
So they literally brought the kitchen sink.
He hit me with a kitchen sink.
Oh, my goodness.
And then he hit his dynamo punch on me with a boxing glove loaded with brass knuckles on top of that. So, but yeah, so that was the first match of the evening. After the match, Chris Kent attacked Jerry Kripke, blaming him for costing him his championship that he felt he deserved. I honestly think we're probably going to see them at some point against each other, and that's probably going to be one of the matches to blow the doors off of the building whenever it happens. I hope, for the fans' sake, ACWG and Michael Allen actually takes that into consideration. Second match of the evening was TK0, inconspicuously absent, I believe, on one of his many yacht cruises was his boss, Cliff Caviar.
Okay.
And I believe he's going to be on an extended vacation, so I don't think he's going to make it to our next show either. But we had a returning wrestler by the name of Arun, who's from Bangkok, Thailand. We met him down at an NGW show. He came in not too long ago, and he made his return this past Friday night at ACW and wrestled TK0. Arun, near the end of the match, after back and forth, decent pace. Arun's a very fast, fiery competitor. TK, another guy who likes to slow things down at his pace because, I mean, nobody wants to try to keep up with some of these younger guys. He was dazed by Arun, but when Arun went up for the top rope, he was caught by TK and he hit him with his backbreaker finisher and got the pinfall for a win. So TK0 is up on that one. I believe we're going to see Arun at some point again. He's something special to watch.
I have not seen him yet, so that would be. I look forward to that.
Very new. Graduated from school at Rock, I believe, this last class that they had. So.
Okay. Now, when I put out on Facebook the WVLP and Mostly Metal Facebook page that we were going to have this chat tonight, one of the comments that came back eventually was somebody asking, "Find out what happened to Cliff Caviar."
He's on a yacht. He's on a yacht vacation. I mean, he's got lots of money. I mean, you could just tell by his green and gold glittering jacket that he's just got almost no taste in general. But he must be out. I don't know where he's going. I don't associate with him too much. I just know that he's got himself a nice 90-foot boat, from what I understand.
So he just kind of comes and goes as he pleases. Is that?
Yeah, if he feels necessary, he'll make his appearance known. I guess I don't know. For match number 3, we had Excalibur, who was my most recent opponent at a couple weeks ago at Clark High School in Hammond. He took on Xavier Black for the Intercontinental title. This was another match that just Xavier Black, in my opinion, is getting better and better with every single match I've seen him wrestle. And he doesn't care if the fans like him or not, but he also doesn't spend his time screaming at them because he's proving them wrong every single chance he gets. So Excalibur is exciting. You know, I'm trying not to talk too highly of him because I did just recently fight him and don't like him too much, but he's exciting as well. They had a really great match going back and forth. Xavier Black has been going to the single leg Boston Crab. He tried again, and held down a little longer than he normally does and almost got disqualified in the middle of the match. He got counted to 4.5, I think, before he finally broke the hold. But near the end, Excalibur started getting back up on top of him. He went up to the top rope and missed a shooting star press, which does not look pleasant at all. I've missed moonsaults. I can only imagine what missing one like that is. And Xavier ended up getting the win, running off the ropes and just kneed him right in the side of the face, knocked him down, knocked him out, and got his win on that.
I have a tremendous appreciation for a lot of the things that you guys go through with especially missed moves and things like that.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that the human body is a soft target, but when you're expecting to hit one thing and you hit something totally different at a different distance, I imagine that's pretty disturbing. And just this afternoon, I was walking around the corner of our couch and I actually tripped and I hit our wooden floor and I'm laying there feeling sorry for myself, like, ow, that hurt. I'm like, wait, I'm going to talk to Drex Odell tonight. I can't feel sorry for myself for falling down in the living room.
Yeah, my head is not. I'll go into it later, but my head isn't hurting as much as it was Friday night after my match with Austin Fury. So, match number 4, right before intermission, was the match that everybody has been waiting for the last 3 shows. It was the musical mayhem match with Dave Allen and Rockstar Johnny Nye.
I'm sad I missed that.
Man, it was something. I can't help but laugh at it because I was just astounded at what was brought into this match. Now, the idea behind this match, Dave Allen, I'm sure if you recap, anybody's listening for the first time, the last 2 times Dave Allen has brought a bass guitar out to the ring to his matches with Johnny, including singing a song to the students and the family of the students at Lincoln Elementary, and specifically singing another song to Jared Kripke's grandmother, I believe, was sitting in the front row.
Which was terrific.
Which was terrific as well, yes. And then I believe he blindsided Rockstar with a guitar in that match. It's been a while since I've seen that one. So then the most recent one, he faked Rockstar hitting him with the guitar, and ref thought otherwise, so
he threw the guitar at Rockstar. Rockstar caught it, so it was in his hands.
Oh, yeah,
and
that old thing,
Then he just dropped to the mat like he'd just been assaulted with the thing, and then the referee turned around.
Well, and at that point, Rockstar Johnny and I grabbed the microphone, challenged him to they called it a Rockstar Rumble Musical Mayhem. We went with Musical Mayhem for this one. I believe Rockstar Rumble might actually be trademarked by another promotion out there.
I didn't hear a thing.
I don't know. We didn't use it, so. But Rockstar and Dave Allen fought with weapons that it constituted not only the bass guitar, made its appearance again, microphone stand, stereo speakers, headphones. I believe there was children's guitars as well, and not just like the cheap plastic acoustic guitar, but we're talking about the ones that Fisher-Price makes where they make those really annoying sounds and the batteries tend to go off in the middle of the night. Including a Rockstar taking a brutal beating at the hands of a pink Casio-style keyboard from Dave Allen across the head all over. The crowd was they were shocked at quite a bit of it. So that match went on for a while. It was really entertaining, very very entertaining. I might add. Rockstar did get his finishing move out, the Annihilation, which I believe he described once before as basically a combination of the pedigree and the the pedigree and like a face buster, like X-Pac's old face buster. When he went for the cover, though, Dave Allen kicked out, and this is the first time anyone's ever kicked out of that move whenever it's been hit. He didn't know what he was going to do at the time. He ended up picking up this acoustic guitar, wouldn't take a swing. Dave ducked it, hit the ropes. I believe he gave him a drop kick at that point, and when he did, he dropped the guitar, and unfortunately, Rockstar landed on it on his back, and it did not look pleasant, but whatever. He went to get up. Dave went for a cover, I believe. He kicked out. He ended up grabbing the guitar anyway. I think Rockstar finally got it and just cracked Dave Allen over the top of the head, old style, like honky tonk man. Got the pin, and the resounding cheers from the crowd for Rockstar Johnny Nye. And Dave Allen was out cold for a good 5 minutes into intermission, laying in the middle of the ring. He finally came to, and Austin Fury went in there to try to give him a CPR. And when he went down for a mouth-to-mouth, Dave Allen grabbed him by the back of the head and rolled out of the ring. So, and that was the end of the first half of the show. Second half of the show, after intermission, we had the 2 debuts of tag teams at our place. The Bambino family made their debut at ACW.
How did they go over?
They went over very, very well. Bam Bambino, I believe, is originally from Lake Village, and I believe he went to school there when he was a kid, so he brought his boys back to the hometown. And we had the debut of a tag team called the American Nightmares. Now, they're guys we've dealt with down at NGW before. They were wearing different masks this night. Typically, they wear orange-style masks, and they wrestle in dress shirts and dress pants. To start the match, when they were being shaken down by the referee, Mr. Paper Harley, they found not 1, not 2, but 3 different pairs of brass knuckles on the American Nightmares. And a pair of, one of the Nightmares had the other Nightmare's underwear in his back pocket. I don't know what that was all about. Crowd got a laugh. I don't know what that was all about. But Bambinos had a pretty good match with them. Went back and forth quite a bit, standard style tag match. But the American Nightmares were no match for the Bambinos. They... near the end of the match, they hit their tag team finisher, which I believe, I may be wrong. I hope they don't yell at me for this too much, but I believe it's called Sleeping with the Fishes, which is like
Makes sense.
Interesting version, like a variation on like a 3D style maneuver. So it was good. They ended up going over, and then afterwards, one of the Nightmares decided to go after Big Bambino, And that didn't work out well for him at all. And he took a couple of good punches, a body slam, and then a really big elbow. And that was that for that match. So crowd loved it. It's fantastic. Second to last match now was for the ACW Heavyweight Championship, which yours truly was involved in with Austin Fury.
After quite a lot of shenanigans leading up to that.
Yes, to give a little bit of a backstory on this, after the ACW Winter Warfare, when I lost the Tough Man Championship that night, there was a battle royal for the vacant ACW Heavyweight Championship. And at the time, the last three people in the ring were myself, Rockstar Johnny Nye, and Austin Fury. And the way this battle royal was set up is the final two people had to have an actual match after everyone else was eliminated going over the top rope. Pinfall or submission only is the only way to guarantee a new winner, and we thought it was the ACW GM and the top, executives or whatever. They felt that was the best way to go about this, to crown a new champion. As I mentioned before, I got hit in the head with about 4 different foreign objects in my earlier match, and so when our match started at the end, after I eliminated Rockstar, Fury ended up getting lucky, got a couple of really good shots to the head on me after I'd already taken quite a bit, and went over and won the belt at the time. I felt like I deserved an instant rematch. I should have been number one contender because I was the most recent person in the hunt for it, and it was a vacant belt. That's my stance. Michael Allen sees otherwise. So I had to essentially earn another chance at the belt. I wrestled Rick Raid. The second match out of that, I don't even remember at this point who it was. I wrestled the first time. Pardon me. And then I wrestled Excalibur at the last show, and I had had enough of playing games with Michael Allen, and I wanted a match. So I came out and forced the issue. I apologize. I forced the issue and got my match for this last show. Unfortunately, things did not work out in my favor. I ended up getting a cut above the eye. I was having a hard time seeing. It was I'll have to give credit where credit due. Austin Fury was very fast and very hard to catch. It was probably one of my better matches I think I've had from a technical standpoint in a while. He ended up getting the win on me, if nothing from me being just stunned for a few seconds at an inopportune time. But after the match was over, he immediately got out of the ring, and I felt like the ref might have had counted too fast or something. I don't know. I lost my mind. I grabbed the referee and yelled at Austin Fury. And in order for me not beating the absolute stuffing out of the referee, Austin Fury decided to challenge me and give me an opportunity one more time. But we're doing it on his terms and his words. And June 3rd at Kinky Valley High School, we're going to have a ladder match for the belt.
Oh, nice.
So with any luck, he won't have his speed on his side at that point for me to stop him, and I'll be up that ladder and coming down with that belt. So that's how that worked out for me. So, and then we had the main event for the evening, which was a hardcore match, which was supposed to be Sadistic Slade versus the fighting school teacher Jimmy Holmes. And seconds before the announcements, Michael Allen was notified by people in the back that Sadistic Slade had been attacked, and he was in no shape or form to take the match. And he demanded whoever attacked Slade to come out. And out walked, for the second time ever at ACW show, a individual by the name of Atomic Punk. And I believe he's from the Lake of Fire, I believe is where they said he's from. And he came out to a Ghost song. So that should give you an idea about his character, right? He came out and had a hardcore match with Jimmy Holmes. And we also had a guest special referee. Also to take place at the other referee as well, Mr. Paper Harley. Mrs. Negri, I believe is her name. She's a teacher at Lake Village as well with Jimmy Holmes. So she came out to ref. It was a decent match going back and forth, a lot of chair shots, thankfully not nearly as painful looking as the previous show we had, where I believe it was Mountain Man just absolutely cracked the executioner with one of the heaviest sounding chair shots I've ever heard in my entire life, and I was in the back.
I can still hear it.
Yeah, this is sickening, and just hearing it on the video replays. But Atomic Punk kind of went after Mrs. Negri when tried to give her a choke slam. Jimmy came and saved her, and at that point, that's when Mrs. Negri had had enough and punched him a couple of times, and Jimmy and Mrs. Negri attacked Atomic Punk and ended up helping him. Jimmy ended up winning the match, and I don't know why this was allowed. Michael Allen needs to get on top of this, letting these people in, thinking they can ref if he's, she's just going to come in and attack wrestlers. That's not right. So, but I think all's fair at that point. So that was pretty much ACW's show. School's out on May 5th in a nutshell.
That's great. So, and it seems like there's a couple of different purposes to these shows. One is very often they're fundraisers for the school
Yes.
or a club in the school.
This one was the fundraiser for the DeMott Boxing Club, which is actually where we train at
Yes.
on a regular basis. So Jimmy Holmes has brought this boxing to DeMott. I mean, he used to be a professional boxer as well. He's tried to bring it to give kids something else to do. They may not... if I remember correctly, when I was growing up in the area between here and England, there wasn't much there as far as sports goes. There's a little bit here and there. We played soccer against KV and all that stuff. Yes, soccer. I'm speaking to all the Americans out here. I don't remember if they had much else other than that, maybe the typical football and baseball or whatever. But he offers boxing there, and he has a lot of good kids that go to a lot of tournaments. In fact, I believe one of them... he's 11 years old. I think his name's Ethan Telema, and he won the World Ringside Championship in his age group, weight class, I believe, not too long ago. They travel quite a bit. It's a small club, but we help them out, by doing fundraisers with them every so often, and we share the same building. They share our ring. In fact, when I first started training there, and a couple years ago, was in the boxing ring, which is might as well have been wrestling on concrete for that matter. They are notoriously stiff, so. But ever since then, we added on to that building. They poured concrete, framed it up, and while we were doing the outside, the fall, almost be a year and a half ago, Jimmy actually fell off the roof there.
Yikes.
While going and suffered a major setback for a while. Had some bad leg injuries, multiple surgeries, and all that to correct his situation. So, but we came together and helped out as much as we could with everything else, and we occasionally do shows in there every once in a while. It's a much smaller room though than what we're used to wrestling in these bigger shows, and we have a smaller ring for that one as well. So.
I also like how you a lot of it's fundraiser related, and for some reason you guys just like to bring out the violence in school teachers.
ACW definitely does things a lot differently than just about any other promotion in the area that I've ever worked for even. And, some people might not like the idea of teachers being involved in a battle royal. I mean, a lot of wrestlers aren't fans of that. As long as they're safe with each other and they treat each other fine, and if any of our guys are in there and we can all work together, that's all that matters. So the kids come out, we get a good turnout for it. And ACW is not going to be like every other single promotion, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Everybody's got to find their niche some way, shape, or form. Otherwise, you wouldn't have places like CZW or ECW back in the day, doing their thing. So
yeah, and I always like how, and I don't know if it was the same situation this past Friday, but I imagine that part of the crowd is full of screaming school kids who are cheering for their teachers.
Yep.
And I think it's terrific for those kids to be able to watch their teachers in a different environment and have some fun with them like that, because I would imagine that the next few days, weeks at school, they might have even a whole morale change for a lot of those kids going into classes, and now they have a little fresh attitude about things for a little bit.
Well, case in point, actually, Jimmy sent me a video not too long ago of a couple of his students, and he was talking to them, building up the hype for the show at Lake Village, talking about mine and Austin Fury's upcoming match. And there's one little particular girl who's a huge fan of Austin Fury, I believe, and she just she didn't like me too much, so I found her in the crowd and I said something to her about it. But it's neither here nor there.
So you mentioned the DeMott Boxing Club as sort of a training center, and at the shows I've been to, the ring announcer at some point makes it very clear that if anybody's interested in training, they should talk to one of the ACW professionals. So what goes on there? How can people get involved, and who should they contact?
You can contact Jimmy Holmes directly. I don't have his phone number on me at the moment, but you can contact him through the Facebook page, I believe, for either DeMott Boxing Club or Acme Championship Wrestling. We're kind of in limbo at the moment. We do have Grin, who's making an occasional appearance down there right now while he's finishing up. He's retiring from wrestling this year. Dave Allen comes down, helps out occasionally as well. Roach trained us for a long time down there, and then with the occasional guys from Fire Pro bounce back and forth. We've had Johnny Motley and Richie Rothschild down there helping us out, as well as, pardon me, dry mouth right now. Kenny Courageous used to come and help us out as well. So
That's neat.
it's intense, It's not for everybody, and they usually know the first night they're in there whether or not they want to do it. So
Oh, I can imagine. Actually, I can't imagine. I'd leave it to other people. So you mentioned spending some time back and forth between here and England, and your T-shirts have the phrase Manchester Hooligan
That's
on
correct.
them. Is there a story behind that?
I'm a big fan of Manchester United, and that's kind of where this whole thing came in. My style is definitely not technical too often. It's more smash mouth, I guess, the best way to put it. Yeah, just coming right in and just all about power and strength for the most part. So
Okay. And tell me a little bit about Fire Pro. You are one half of the tag team champions.
Yes.
With a Team Blackout.
Yep.
And your partner is Mustafa.
Yep, and our manager is Mr. Marcus Hartman.
Okay.
Yep.
I've seen him. I've seen several shows there with you guys performing, and he will come out with you. But I don't get there's not a lot of information about him or what his relationship is with you guys. So where did you hook up with him, and what does he do for you?
Well, he was scouting me for a long time when I was doing singles there when I first made my debut. And after a while, he brought me into the fold, and then we brought Mustafa was already making his appearance known, and my former tag team partner and I that were there were Blackout originally. And when he had left, me and Mustafa became the new tag team. So Marcus makes his presence known when it needs to be known by anybody else. He doesn't need to do much as far as getting involved or doing much else. He runs everything behind the scenes. He's the brains behind everything. He's there, and if anybody needs anything from us, they have to go through him first. So
At the last Fire Pro show, it sounded like, from what he was telling the crowd, that he was starting to get a little frustrated with the lack of competition, so he went out and brought somebody else in that included Fighting Irish.
Yep.
Anybody else on tap at this? So the next Fire Pro show is on May 20th, I believe.
Yes.
Is anybody in your sights?
you know what? I don't ask questions because I don't care. The result's going to be the same regardless. So
You just show up, and what happens, happens.
show up, beats people up, collect the payday.
Do you ever get scared of Mustafa yourself, as big as he is?
He's a very intimidating
You're a
man.
big guy.
Yeah,
and he is
he's massive.
much
Yes.
bigger.
Yeah, he's much bigger than I am. And no, he's actually me and him are on the same page. I don't really have to worry about him at all. I have to worry about whether or not I mess up in the ring, and if I ever cost us these belts for whatever reason, then I'll have something to worry about. So.
And when is the next ACW show?
Next ACW show is June 3rd. It's going to be at Kankakee Valley High School, and it is a fundraiser for the Kankakee Valley Pop Warner football organization. So it's Kankakee Valley High Schools, and I believe it's technically considered Wheatfield, Indiana. So,
Okay. How can people keep up with what's going on in the world of Drex Odell? Social media, anything like that?
Yeah, I'm actually I'm on Facebook. There's also a page as well as a regular profile for myself, and I'm also on Twitter. But it's just recently finally joined it for this. So I have to actually look it up. It's just at Drex Odell for that. It's DREXODELL.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And what's coming up next with NGW? I think there was a show there relatively
Yeah,
recently.
they
I
just-
don't know how often they run a show.
They typically run every single month. It's not the same weekend, just like ACW doesn't do everything. I mean, Fire Pro's typically every third Saturday, but NGW just had their 9th anniversary show, and it was the biggest one I've ever been a part of for them. They don't typically draw much more than 40, 50 people every show. This time we had 160. And me and TK0, again, I said, we still don't have a tag team name. There's some funny stuff being thrown out there. I don't know what we're going to stick with at this point. I don't even want to suggest them because they're so ridiculous. I can't help but laugh. We were the open for the night, and it was a very good show from top to bottom. And unfortunately, their next show is June 3rd as well. They're taking May off. We won't be able to make that one because of our commitment to ACW. And then the next show we have for them is not going to be until July 29th, I believe. So.
Okay. So thank you for visiting,
Thank you very much.
and good luck with your next match against Austin Fury,
Yep.
a ladder match
Yes.
for the ACW title.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to that
one
one
for the
very,
books.
very much.
Yep.
Whenever anything big is going on in your world, come on back and fill us in.
Absolutely. I'd be glad to
Keep
come
us
back
posted.
anytime.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ken. Appreciate it.
So it's 10 o'clock here on WVLP. This is 103.1 FM in Valparaiso, Indiana. And it is now time to switch over to punk rock radio.